I look for Todd Gurley to get back on pace where he was before. And here's a player I absolutely love, Chris Carson. I mean, what he did with Seattle, I thought Seattle was the number one team in the NFL last year. You saw what Chris Carson was doing last year. He got hurt, and then they brought Marshawn in. If Chris Carson can stay healthy, I mean, you're looking at a top 5 running back in the NFL. I mean, he really does it all. I mean, you look at the players that talk so highly about him. I mean, Zeke said he sees a small image of him in Chris Carson. I mean, Chris Carson's a bad boy. I mean, I love Chris Carson. Juju Smith-Schuster, I think he had a down year because Big Ben went down. I think he did good for the quarterbacks right we're in. I think if Big Ben can stay healthy, James Conner didn't really help him out that much last year. And I know people are going to hate that I'm saying that. I just didn't like James Conner's production. I think that James Conner, with Pittsburgh, you got to get the running game going. They're going back to old school football. So if you get James Conner going, it's going to set up for Juju. And, Big Ben stays healthy. I look for Pittsburgh to have a giant year. I love everything. I hate Pittsburgh, but I love everything that they're doing. When they drafted the receiving core, I love it. I absolutely love it. Le'Veon Bell, it's a risk, but it could be a high reward. First year with a new organization, not so great O-line. You got to think about the situation Le'Veon was coming into. I mean, being the best running back in the last 4 years, I mean, and then having the year you had, it's disappointing, but, he's been working out really hard in the offseason. I would love to really see him get it going. I'm a huge Le'Veon Bell fan, but we don't know the situation for him. He was skipping practices to go bowling. So you don't really want that type of situation on your fantasy team. I don't get me wrong, I love Le'Veon, but you just don't want that on your team. Leonard Fournette, I don't trust Jacksonville right now, really, any of their players. And I know they got young, talented receivers. I just don't trust Jacksonville at all. You don't know what's going to happen. If you draft a Jacksonville player, you're hoping they get traded somewhere into a good situation where they can put up numbers, but, you just don't want to. And I'm on the board right now. I think this is a no-brainer. I think we're looking at a, top 20 receiver this year. He screws in his foot last year. He didn't get to play all the games. He had a huge year. I look for Hollywood Brown to really come out. I mean, I think you're going to see a small glimpse of Antonio Brown this year. I love everything about Hollywood Brown. I mean, he put on 20 pounds this offseason. Talk about a guy that weighed 150 pounds and then going up to 180 something. I mean, I look for him to have a huge year. Screws out of his foot. I can't wait to see it. I really can't. I'm thinking quarterback right here. We got Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, Gronk, Devontae Parker, Hollywood. I'm thinking quarterback, but I might push running back one more time. This is a tough decision. This is a tough decision. It's a risk, but I think it's a high reward. I like James White a lot. I'm gonna go with James White here. Like I said, I mean, receiving yards and rushing yards. I got a theme going here in my draft. Talk about the running backs that I've been drafting. I mean, they do it all. That's huge in fantasy. When you can get a guy that does everything, that's really what you're looking for. And even with the quarterbacks, you want a quarterback that can do it both. So, I think that was a big pick for me, James White. I like what he does. And after we talk about Leonard Fournette, talking about Odell Beckham, he didn't have a great year last year. He really didn't. But we look forward to him coming back. It's going to be hard because of the weapons they have over there in Cleveland. But he's a guy that's going to demand the ball. We know who Odell Beckham is. We know he wants the football. He wants to do his dances. And, I think he's going to really look forward to doing that. I think with him having the second year of Baker Mayfield, I think it's going to be big for him. We saw what he did with Eli. And, I'm not sold on Eli. I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But I think Odell has a bounce back year. David Johnson, we haven't seen real David Johnson in years. Years. So, We hope David Johnson get back on track. I'm not sold on him. I think he has an okay year, a little bit of a bounce back, but I don't see it happening. Those numbers he had before. A.J. Brown. I mean, look at Tennessee. I mean, he really opened up the passing game for them. I had him on my fantasy team last year. I love A.J. Brown. I think he gets it going. I think he helps out Derrick Henry. But like I said, when you think about what they're going to be playing against the Chiefs, they're going to stack the box. They might bring 1 or 2 safeties down because, can you really trust Ryan Tannehill? I mean, you look what he did against New England. He had a horrible game. Against Baltimore, he had 1 passing touchdown. But I think that's when he threw that passing touchdown, the Ravens just, they put their head down. And I don't know if I trust Ryan Tannehill. But if he has another great year, I'm glad for him. I mean, good for him. He got that money, and if he does another good year, he deserves it. Cortland Sutton. I mean, we brought up the Broncos. I mean, look what the Broncos are doing, man. They're trying to compete with Kansas City, and I mean, they got the receivers to do it. They really do. The running backs. I mean, they even have Lindsey as their number 2 running back with Gordon. I mean, you gotta love what the Broncos are doing. They're young. Look for them to really be the surprise team of the year. If you told me the Broncos win 10 games this year, I'm not really that surprised. And then I drafted Keenan Allen. I love Keenan Allen. Like I said, he's a complete package. His route running is just undeniable. And then I had back-to-back picks. I went with Melvin Gordon, his old teammates. A Bronco, like we said. I mean, killer. Calvin Ridley, I look for him to be a sleeper. I mean, his route running, I think he really helps out Julio this year, which I'm hoping will get Julio. I love Julio. He's a great player. I really want to see him get back on track with the touchdowns. We haven't seen old Julio the last 2 years, so I really hope he gets back on track. Zach Ertz, I love Zach Ertz. He's Carson Wentz's guy. I mean, we know it. I mean, he's the face of Philly. They love him over in Philly. I think he has a good year. I don't think it's going to be crazy numbers. I think it's a good year it's a great pick up there. Then we got Tyler Lockett. I mean, that's Russell Wilson's guy. I mean, talk about what they've done in the past. I mean, it's going to be fun to see them together. All right, so we're on the board now. I want to go quarterback here. I mean, but there's some good players left. There's some really good high key players left. I could get Jared Judy right now. But I'm thinking quarterback. I'm thinking I go quarterback here. Aaron Rodgers, I love Aaron Rodgers. I'm hoping he has a really good year this year. There's no really passing up Aaron. I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers. We know what he's capable of. I mean, second-year coach. I think the first year was kind of tough. I think they had a good season. But like I said, Devontae Adams is hurt, put a lot of pressure on Aaron Jones. I think Aaron has a great year this year. If their guys can stay healthy, they can make a run. I love that. I love what they got going over there. Aaron Rodgers, that was my pick. I got a good receiving core right now. I'm on the board still. I got Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Devontae Parker, Hollywood. I got some good running backs too. I'm thinking I go running back here.
Sean, who was your ninth pick?
I think Duke Johnson. I mean, we saw what Carlos Hyde did with the Texans last year. I mean, he had a great year. I mean, that was one of the surprising picks of the year. I picked him off with the waiver wire. I think Duke Johnson being there now with the Texans and being the starter now, I think that's going to be huge for Duke Johnson. I picked Duke Johnson. I think he's going to have an amazing year. I love what he's doing. I think he's going to help Deshaun Watson out dramatically. I mean, he's going to be a great player over there. Younger, fresher legs than Carlos Hyde. I mean, I love Carlos Hyde. I think he won me a lot of games last year, My top running backs were out. He won me a lot of games. So I think we see Duke Johnson do the same. I'm far away on the pick. I would love to get Jared Judy. Like I said, from that same neighborhood with Antonio Brown, Hollywood, Lamar, Singletary. I'd love to get him on, but we'll see how it plays out. Jonathan Taylor, we brought him up. I said him and KJ Dobbins were the best running backs coming out of the draft. I mean, I know Edwards got picked before them, but I think that's a fit the Chiefs wanted, someone in the backfield. But, if you look at what the Colts and Ravens are doing, they want guys that are going to hit you in the mouth. I compared KJ Dobbins to Ezekiel Elliott. If you look at the college numbers, J.K. Dobbins had a better year than Zeke. I'm not saying, J.K. Dobbins is going to be the next Zeke, but I wouldn't be surprised if, I said, K.J. Dobbins might take Mark Ingram's job, and I wouldn't be surprised about that, Competition's great. You can't have enough running backs in this league. I mean, it's like corners. You can't have enough corners. So I look for that competition. I think KJ beats him out. I think they're both Pro Bowlers. You remember when the Saints had Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara? We had 2 Pro Bowlers over there, and look what the Saints did that year. I mean, I know they didn't get the trophy they wanted, but I mean, they had a great year, and I think the Ravens, they're liking what they got over there. Robert Woods, I think it's a little high from what happened with the Rams. They picked apart that team. I love Robert Woods, but as a human, he's a great guy. I mean, the community work he does, but fantasy, I'm just not sold on it. I do love Robert Woods, but it's just not there. And, same with Cooper Kupp. I mean, the year before last year, I mean, a crazy year for Cooper Kupp, but, the Rams are just not sold on it. I don't know. So I'm on the board right now. I'm going to lock in my pick. Jared Judy, I love Jared Judy. I mean, he's a top-notch guy. Like I said, those boys in South Florida, I mean, they don't play around in Florida. I mean, those guys, their work ethic is unbelievable, undeniable. I mean, they'll do what they got to do. They're going to have big years over there. So after Cooper Kupp, we had James Conner getting picked. I think James Conner has a huge year. I think Pittsburgh's going to really tell him, hey, man, you got the whistle here. We're going to give you the ball. You're going to do what you got to do, and you're going to win some ball games. Devin Singletary, I mean, another guy from Florida. He had a great year for Buffalo. I look for him to help out Josh Allen a lot. I think he has a good year. A better year than last year. I mean, he was a late bloomer last year. Great year. DeAndre Swift, a rookie running back. I wasn't sold on him. I knew he had a great year in college. I mean, I hope he proves me wrong. You like to see these young rookies come out. I mean, last year we had a great rookie class for running backs. I want to see that again. One of my favorite receivers, DK Metcalf. I mean, what a hell of a player. So we're still on the board. I want to say I'm going to lock in. Someone took Hayden Hurts from me. Smart pick. That's one of my sleepers on the year. I hope it doesn't freeze. Cam Newton. I went with Cam Newton because, like I said, I think with the situation he's in, but I really like that he runs and throws. It's a good backup quarterback for me. We'll see what Cam does. I hope he's not all talk. He said he's going to go out there and prove everyone wrong, and I hope he does. I'd like to see old Cam back, but we'll see how it plays out. So after DK Metcalf, I mean, like I said, I love DK. He's got a built like T.O., and I think he's really going to show Russell Wilson that he can be his number one guy and take it from Tyler Lockett. We got Mark Andrews after. I mean, we saw Mark Andrews last year. I mean, best tight end, hands down. What he did in the receiving game, and what he did with Lamar was unbelievable. Darren Waller, old Raven. I mean, his first year. I mean, he's only been a tight end for 3 years, and he really went on stage and showed he could play in the spotlight like he did. I mean, Darren Waller had a crazy year last year. I love what he's doing. He had a drug problem. I'm glad he's come back. I'm glad he's doing everything he needs to do. You'd love to see the players get back and doing what they're doing. DJ Chark Jr., a great receiver out of Jacksonville. But like I said, I'm not really sold on Jacksonville because you don't know the situation that's going on over there. But I hope he has a great year. T.Y. Hilton, he really hasn't been able to stay healthy these last 2 years. A big thing for fantasy is staying healthy. And, it'd be nice to see T.Y. stay healthy, but for right now, you don't know what to expect out of it. But